Let's take this conversation further now with Cardinal Brislin, who is the Archbishop of Johannesburg and President of the Southern African Catholic Bishops' Conference. Cardinal, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. How significant typically are what are high-level state visits between presidents as well as the Pope? What symbolism do they carry for nation-states?
Thank you very much, Oliver, and good evening to you and to all of your listeners. I think it's a very important event that has taken place. I think the last president of South Africa to visit the Holy Father was Nelson Mandela, if I'm not mistaken, in 1998. And I think this should not be seen as a visit, and you were quite correct to say it was a state visit. It's not a visit as such to the leader of the Catholic world. I think that the Pope in this case represents an understanding and an acknowledgement of the importance of faith and faith leaders in our own country and the role that faith plays and has played in the history of our country. The word that you use to describe the Pope, pontiff, is a very important word because it comes from the Latin meaning a bridge. And that's a very important part of the role of the Holy Father, is to be a bridge between people and to try to unite people, bring people together to resolve differences and to work together with others in order to promote peace, to promote human dignity, and to promote equality among people. So I think that this visit means and symbolizes the alignment, if you like, with the South African government, represented by President Ramaphosa, with the values of the Vatican as a state, the values which are based on the gospel, values that we believe are values of ethics and values to promote human well-being.
Yeah. Now, we know that Pope Francis had a very keen view and interest in establishing peace in the Middle East, particularly in support of the Palestinian people who are under continued siege by the Israeli government. And he had made phone calls to various people in the Gaza Strip as often as he could, and in many instances on a daily basis. South Africa had taken Israel to the International Court of Justice, and that had attracted the ire of many countries in the West, in particular America. A visit to the Vatican is symbolic in continuing a conversation about establishing peace in the Middle East, establishing peace in Russia and Ukraine. And I mean, we can't forget that iconic photo of Donald Trump as well as Volodymyr Zelensky sitting in the middle of the chapel during funeral proceedings of Pope Francis. And so the symbolism of this visit means a lot more than what it ordinarily would if South Africa hadn't taken that strong position it did 2 years ago when it chose to legally pursue Israel. Would it be fair to read this as a moment to that President Ramaphosa is seeking the support of the Vatican in establishing peace in the Middle East, even if it means legally pursuing Israel?
I think it most certainly means and is an indication of the Holy Father, as you have rightly said, has been very concerned about what is happening in Gaza and, of course, the West Bank. We should not forget the West Bank and what is happening there. And the concern that President Ramaphosa and the South African government has expressed, and I'm quite sure that came up for the discussion between the Holy Father and the President. I think also the President would have presented the wars that are happening in Africa as well, most particularly in the Sudan, where there have been a horrific number of people have been killed. And of course, that war gets very, very little publicity and is in many ways in the eyes of the West, I think, and largely the media is a forgotten war. So I think that it is an endorsement of the work for peace and the work for trying to resolve conflicts without resorting to violence. And I think it is a recognition, too, of the injustice that has led to the war in Gaza and on the West Bank, the historic injustice and the violence that has been committed by Hamas and also by the Israeli state over the years. The fact of the matter is, of course, that it is only through peaceful means, through dialogue, that there will ever be a proper resolution to that conflict and to other conflicts.
Yeah. Just lastly, and I think importantly here, is that we had found out that President Ramaphosa had extended an invitation to the Holy Father to visit South Africa at any point in time on a state visit, should he be available to do so. How significant would such a visit be to Catholics in South Africa?
Well, to Catholics, it would be absolutely wonderful. Of course, it would be a great boost to our morale. Because the Holy Father, not only is he head of state, but he is, of course, the leader of the Catholic world. He is the chief shepherd and our pastor. And so for the Catholic world, this would be wonderful. But I think it would extend far beyond Catholicism. I think for the country, this would be a boost. I think for all faith leaders and people of all faiths, they would recognize in this the recognition by the government of the importance of faith. So I think it would be a boost for our country. It would certainly attract the attention of the world onto the country. It would also attract many, many visitors who would come simply for the papal visit.
Yeah.
Of course, the invitation has been extended, but that's an invitation. Whether the Holy Father will be able to come remains to be seen.
Cardinal Brislin, thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure speaking to you always. Really do appreciate you coming on to the show. That is Cardinal Stephen Brislin, the Archbishop of Johannesburg and the President of the Southern African Bishops' Conference.